There's a call to arms for Queenslanders to take the flu more seriously.
Is it time for jab number 5? And what about the flu vaccine?
Do you think you'll have a 5th, a 6th, a 7th?
I think I'll do whatever's recommended, to be honest. Yeah, like I want to stay healthy, so whatever comes up and whatever my doctor tells me to do, I will.
Still worth getting a flu jab?
Oh, always. You know what? The flu jab is really interesting. Apart from really reducing your risk of getting a flu, studies in Australia have actually shown it reduces your risk of having a heart attack in the same year that you get your flu shot. So for anyone who thinks that they might even vaguely be at risk of a heart attack or doesn't want to get a flu and have to take time off work, a super, super good idea.
It's not...
Bombshell document from Ambulance Victoria is shedding new light on a traffic incident involving Premier Daniel Andrews and a young cyclist 10 years ago. According to the document seen by the Herald Sun, the Premier's car struck the then 15-year-old cyclist at 40 to 60 kilometres per hour.
So that report contradicts Daniel Andrews' claim that his car was T-boned by a bike in 2013.
He struck the right-hand side of our car. Yeah. We didn't see him. He was not visible on the road or anything like that. He then went over the car after having gone into the windscreen. It was a very nasty incident and one that you wouldn't wish on anybody.
Let's bring in 3AW's Heidi Murphy in Melbourne. Heidi, good morning to you. Who cares? It was 100 years ago.
It was quite a long time ago, Carl.
Dan Andrews will be gone in 6 months. He is...
Was Elvis present when all this happened? I mean, it's 15 years ago, and it's 15 years old. Well, 15 years ago, it does matter. 15 years ago.
There is a direct contradiction here. It's true, but it is 15 years ago.
Well, Jerry Springer, the host who pioneered the trashy TV, has lost his final fight, aged 79. He'll be remembered for a talk show that explored the weird loves and lusts of outrageous guests who regularly ended up trading punches.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Yeah.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Biden has taken a step back as karaoke came to the White House. The visiting South Korean president stole the show at a state dinner with his rendition of the Don McLean hit American Pie, earning himself a standing ovation.
Well, we wanted to hear you sing it. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And now I knew if I had my chains that I could make those people dance and maybe they'd be happy for a while. A February made me shiver with the paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I tried when I read about his widow bride. Something touched me deep inside the day the music died.
Polls show that some 70% of Americans don't want him to run. That includes 51% of Democrats. There are questions about his age. At 80, he's already the oldest president. There's some frustration among journalists. You know this as the president of the White House Correspondents Association, about access to the president. What is the White House saying about all this?
Well, in terms of access, what the White House is saying is he does all of these things where you shout a question and he answers quickly, and so he's super available.
Tonight, President Biden again refusing to answer questions about the swirling controversy over his handling of classified documents.
Will you commit to speak to the special counsel?
And so he's super available.
Mr. President, are you worried about nuclear war?
And so he's super available.
You would think with such an alarming statement, the president would be ready to answer questions and assure Americans. But look what he did instead, literally running away.
And so he's super available.
Thank you. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, can everyone please come to the
President Biden,
The White House says that there are lots of people who are 80 years old, 82 years old, 86 years old, who are super performers, and he is someone who is certainly not sitting around watching cable all day. He's the president of the United States, and he is actively using his mind. And also, they say that they really have, the White House doesn't say this, officials, not the White House, say that he is the party's candidate. There isn't someone waiting in the wings right now.
President Biden is already the oldest president.
At 80, Joe Biden is already the oldest US president. If he was to win, though, in 2024, he would be 86 at the end of his second term. Now, some experts have already said that his age could be a campaign issue. And some aging experts say an 80-year-old now is not like an 80-year-old in the past.
Records for aging are being set all the time. But I think we're in new territory here because we're healthier than we ever were before. And I think not everybody has realized that fact that, you know, an 80-year-old or an 86-year-old today, particularly one that's had a history of good health, is very, very different than an 80 or an 86-year-old was 50 years ago.
And now I want you to meet your new brother.
Cowabunga, dudes.
Mwah! 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 Give it a try, like kissing a peanut.
The day the music died.